everybody, my name's Nicola and welcome back to my channel. This is the Frugal Cottage, where we talk all things money to help you on your financial journey. Today's video is another cash envelope stuffing video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and let's get started. So another week is over and there's only one more week until the summer holidays start here in the UK. So this is probably the last week where my cash envelope system is fairly normal, i.e. it's kind of the same as every week. And then from next week onwards we'll be doing more things, we'll be kind of going more places, and so obviously budgets might change in that respect. But for this week ahead it's totally normal, we're just doing work, school, whatever. How's your week ahead looking? Is there anything that's going to throw you off a kind of budget? Let me know down below how you're finding things and what your week ahead looks like. This is my cash envelope system. If you're new here, this is just from Amazon. I'll leave a link below to both the binder and the envelopes. It's really cheap, but it's also like the best system that I've found. So let's get these out. I have already emptied all of my cash envelopes so that they are all empty. All of that has gone into my different savings challenges for this year. And I'll link below to that video if you want to join me in those. There's still time to get that started and what difference that might make to the end of the year if you choose to do that with me. I've got 5 cash envelopes: food, petrol, miscellaneous, children and eating out. So we'll start with food. I feel like I've run the freezer down quite a lot recently and have not been as good at restocking things. So maybe that's the plan. I know, like for this week ahead, for example, that I'm using a portion of this bolognese sauce that I've got in the freezer. I'm also using some of the chicken that I've got in the freezer, and I'm also using some frozen chips, for example, from the freezer. So again, I am using what's in there, but sometimes it's then remembering that I need to replenish that in some shape or form. So I'm going to put £70 in food this week, but I intend to spend most of that. I need to kind of look at, when I'm doing things like bolognese or chilli or whatever, I also need to look at making more. But in the summer months, it's not the kind of food we eat very regularly. I might stock up on more kind of meat, so like chicken, mince, whatever, and have that in the freezer as well, because then that's like the expensive part of a meal, isn't it? And then the other things don't cost as much. So I'm going to put £70 in here for now. So 20, 40, 60, 70. I'm going to put that in there for now. So £70, like I said, I do intend to spend most of that on getting. I think also in the summer months we tend to eat kind of more picky meals, if that makes sense, but actually they tend to be more expensive because you have different parts of them. If that makes any sense, so let me know if you understand what I mean by that. Rather than say like a stew or bolognese, whatever, which is or can be made fairly cheaply. So yeah, so there's £70 in the food envelope as the first one. The next one is petrol, so this never changes, so I'm going to put £30 in petrol. In fact, actually next week it might not even need to be so much, because the week after next I'm not going to be travelling to work. So that might mean that that's slightly less, although you'd then assume that we're travelling to other places to go to places on days out, so we'll see. So I always put £30 in the petrol envelope. That's not any different to normal there. So that's the petrol envelope. Miscellaneous. Again, I feel like I need some cleaning things this week from the miscellaneous category. And what I tend to do is I tend to buy kind of the bigger versions of things, and then that'll last us a long time. And also if you look at the prices for things, generally the bigger packet of something you can get, the better value for money it is, but obviously you then need to have somewhere to store that. So I'm going to put £20 in here, but I think again miscellaneous is I either spend like pretty much every single penny out of miscellaneous, or I don't touch it. There doesn't seem to be kind of an in-between, so either I'll be left with nearly £20 in here or I'll be left with nothing. So we'll see for that, but I definitely need cleaner stuff this week from the miscellaneous envelope. I got cat food last week, so I don't need that this week. And like for the cat food, so for they have both dry and wet cat food, and it comes out of this envelope. If I get the wet cat food pouches, I get a box of 40. Now we've got 2 cats, so they do go through it, but if I get a box of 40 rather than say a box of 12, obviously it's going to last me longer, but the initial outlay is more, but it's cheaper in the long run. If that's a good example of what I mean by buying things in bulk, if you've got the place to store it. Children, so children, what are we doing next weekend? Oh, so we might go for a day trip on Sunday next week. So this is going to be £20 in here. Is that going to work out? Yeah, so I'm going to put £20 in the children's envelope. I think we're going to go out for the day on Saturday next weekend, so this £20 will be used for that. I can't remember where we said we were going to go. I also need, so if you live in like the northeast, if you've got any recommendations for like a farm or, you know, somewhere that has like different animals. I was going to say a zoo, but I know for a fact we don't have any kind of zoos nearby as far as I'm aware. But if you live in the northeast and got any recommendations for kind of day trips where I can take a 5-year-old and 3-year-old for the day, let me know down below. I'm always happy to, or like glad that people recommend places, because otherwise we just end up going to the same places. Did anyone else do that? You kind of go to places that you know are going to be okay and you know that your children are going to like, where actually I think that sometimes we should kind of go to new places to see. And I'd quite like, we were watching a children's programme the other day on CBeebies, and they'd gone to, it must have been like a petting farm, and these children were getting to see all these different animals, and my 3-year-old was like, oh, Mummy, I want to do that. And I was like, right, we're going to do that this summer. I'll find somewhere where we can go. So if you've got any recommendations, I realise that probably most of the people that watch these videos do not live in the northeast. But yeah, so there's £20 in the children's envelope. And from next week, actually, I've got a summer holidays sinking fund, and if you haven't seen my sinking funds video, I'll leave a link below to that, like the newest one of those. But part of that sinking fund will fund kind of, I suppose, the children's envelope, because most of the time that's what it's going to go on. I don't want them to miss out this year. I feel like they've missed out on so much the past kind of 18 months. So yeah, so there's £20 in the children's envelope for now, and then the final one is eating out. And actually I am going for a meal out on Tuesday with some work colleagues because it's the end of term, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to put this £10 in here, but actually I have a feeling that £10 is not going to get me, or is not going to pay for my entire meal. So I need to look at that actually. I didn't think that through at all. So I'm going to put this final £10 in here. Yeah, we're going to Nando's on Tuesday. And I think I've been to Nando's once in my life. It's not somewhere I have been. And so I presume that £10 won't get me a meal and a drink in Nando's. And also, like, what should I get from there? I have no idea. If you've got any recommendations of what I should choose off their menu, then feel free to let me know down below. I genuinely have no idea. So that would be really nice to go on. It'd be really nice to do something that feels really normal. I don't remember the last time, I couldn't tell you the last time me and my husband went out for a meal actually. But yeah, so I'm doing that on Tuesday, and actually that £10, like I said, I don't think will go. Or will it? I just don't know actually. I'm saying that maybe it will. But that's in there for now, and that's my final cash envelope for the week ahead. So I've put £10 in there, £20 has gone in children, £20 in miscellaneous, £30 in petrol, and £70 in the food envelope, and they are my cash envelopes for the week ahead. How are your cash envelopes looking? Are you using the system? Let me know if you are. I love to talk to people about how they use their own cash envelope system. Obviously your setup might be very different to mine, but you need to find what works for you. This combined with my budget planner is the thing that works for me. And as always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon.